And the very beautiful, very interesting, very unique, and bizarre looking orchid that we have in our Orchid in Review for today is this species orchid right here. And this is the Brassavola, also reclassified as the Rhyncholaelia Digbyana. Now this is an orchid again that is species and also native to the Central America area, and in specific in Honduras, Belize, also Guatemala, Mexico, and Costa Rica. This is an epiphytic orchid that is commonly known to grow in nature, in your shrubs, and also in your trees. But domesticated, you can either choose to grow them in pots, perhaps mounted, other forms of media, and also in your baskets. And they aren't picky when it comes to growing them, so indeed you can have a variety and an assortment of different materials and media to work with. And these orchids can become rather large in size. This one in particular is about 18 inches in height, and if we take a closer look, you will see that it does have several pseudobulbs in here, and this is over 15 pseudobulbs. So indeed they can become rather large in size, so be mindful of that if you do intend on obtaining one of these. And also a unique feature about these types of leaves right here, because they are glaucous in form, is the fact that they are very, very erect in the direction that they grow. And also if we take a closer look, we will also note a very unusual feature. Because if we do take a closer look, you are going to notice some form of difference in its actual appearance and also the color of the leaves. As you are noticing right here, a very silverish, grayish, even whitish film on the actual leaves, and it appears to be some form of residue, but in actual reality it is not. That is just the texture and also the color of the leaves. And you will also find that if you do try to remove or wipe away that texture or that film of white silvery color, it will not come off no matter how hard you try. Again, it is a normal texture and just a natural way that these leaves grow. These are sympodial growing orchids, so you will find that the pseudobulbs do grow to the side, and you'll also find that either one or two new growths of pseudobulbs can grow per original pseudobulb. Now, if you do have a very healthy Digbyana, you will find that each and every individual new growth can actually produce a sheath that in turn can produce these very gorgeous and very unique blooms off of a very, very long inflorescence. Now, just how long is the inflorescence? Well, I actually have a spent flower right here where we can see clearly just how long it is. Okay, so with the Rhyncholaelia Digbyana, I will have to admit it is very unfortunate that you will only have the potential of getting one flower per sheath. But hey guys, take a look at this flower in all of its glory, and you will see that it is quite amazing. So even if it is just one bloom per sheath, I am totally fine with that, being able to witness such a glorious sight right here. But the good news is the fact that this can get rather large, as I stated, and also you do have the potential of getting sheaths from each individual new growth that this plant grows. So on a good sized Digbyana with multiple growths, you still have the potential of also having multiple blooms as well. And as you can see right here, this is a very nice size in bloom. These blooms can actually measure up to 7.5 inches in diameter. So indeed, as you can see, a very nice size in bloom on this orchid. This orchid is known to bloom within the spring or the summer months, but if it is receiving exactly what is required for it to bloom, it can bloom sporadically and at any time of the year, as in this case right here, where we're not even in the middle of the winter. The bloom time on this orchid right here is round about 2 weeks, so you definitely will have enough time to enjoy, to relish, to appreciate, and also to smell these wonderful orchids. This is an orchid that is known to be a hot to warm growing orchid and loves very, very high light, even more so than your Cattleya orchid. And as a matter of fact, if it does not receive enough light, you may find that your Digbyana will not bloom. So yes, that is how critical it is for this to receive enough light. So to ensure that you can get your Digbyana to bloom, I would actually recommend that you give it as much light as you can give it, of course without burning your orchid. So very, very bright diffused light, or maybe even direct light at certain portions of the day where the sun is weaker. Now, this is an orchid that does like high humidity, and what's recommended is at least 80%. This is an orchid that does like high moisture as well. So indeed, it is recommended that if you do keep it in a pot, that you water it at least twice a week. And if it is mounted, it's recommended that you water it at least once a day, or sometimes even more than that, especially in the heat of summer. Now, of course, these are but recommendations. You will actually have to determine exactly how you need to grow your orchid based upon your weather conditions, how you're growing the orchid, and of course your climate in your area. And that's going to determine exactly how you need to grow your orchid. Okay, so now let's go ahead and talk about these blooms right here, and let's show you exactly what makes these blooms so spectacular and so amazing. Now, the color that you will find on this orchid blossom right here are different shadings of a lime green, or what some commonly refer to as a Granny Smith apple green. And looking throughout the bloom, you definitely are going to see different shadings of that green. As you can note in the petals itself, it is a darker colored green, but as we go into the labellum or the lip area, you are going to notice a lighter color right there, even some hints of white. And if we take a closer look into the actual throat area right here, you are actually going to notice an even darker green. Indeed, an emerald green in the center of the bloom. Now, also note that there are some Digbyana species that actually display a soft tinge of pink. So that is also a trait that these orchids can have as well. The petals itself may not always be uniform in its shape. As you can see, it does have somewhat of a warping effect or a twisting effect. So that is one of the traits that you may have, is the size and shape of the blooms may be different. Also, it should be noted that the flower itself has a very waxy appearance and also texture to the bloom. And let us go ahead and focus in on the most amazing, unique, and breathtaking feature of this orchid blossom, of which of course I know you can already see. So as we take a close look at the labellum, indeed you can see the long bristle-like feature of the lip. You are seeing tiny hairs and thread-like appearance of how this lip is formed. Also, another wonderful feature about this labellum, this lip right here, is the fact that it is very flared out, and you definitely are able to see those wonderful fringes beautifully displayed on this orchid. And I have to tell you, it is so breathtaking and so unique. This is a very uncommon feature. This indeed is such a rare quality in orchids, and you are not oftentimes going to see this. And because this orchid right here has such a unique and very attractive feature, this orchid is used to hybridize many orchids in attempts to get this very attractive feature and personality right here. And just as a side note, I did want to show you a couple of Digbyana crosses that I have, just to give you an idea of different varieties. Now, this orchid right here is a Mystic Lady Lime Morning, and I did do a video in regards to this one showing you exactly what the blooms look like, and you can click the link right here. It'll take you to that video now. And this is a cross of the Digbyana times a Mari's Song. Now, this Cattleya right here is in my orchid community basket. This is a Purpurata times a Digbyana right here, and this also has beautiful blooms, and I'll post a picture right here so that you can see exactly what the blooms look like. And as you can see with this Purpurata Digbyana cross, it does have a sheath, so I am hoping this year we will get our first beautiful bloom from this Cattleya cross. And this mounted orchid right here, which is a Digbyana cross as well, this is the very popular golf green hair pig. known for its unusual name and also its remarkable resemblance to the Digbyana in regards to how the lip is actually formed on this orchid. And the blooms on here are pretty large, very broad petals, and it has that extremely fringed lip that we all know and love from the Digbyana. And if we take a close look right there, you will see that it is in sheath. And then it also has an older sheath right here that appears to be dead. But you guys know I don't pull any of my sheaths, even if they look dead, because perhaps there is a potential still that it could produce. Now, I do have yet another golf green hair pig right here. This one is potted, and the good news about this one is that soon and very soon we should have a bloom from this one, and I'll be able to do an orchid review on it and show you just how amazing the blooms on this really is. I do want to tell you about my personal experience with the Digbyana when I first witnessed one firsthand. It was at an orchid show, and I have to tell you, I could not take my eyes off of it. First of all, I was trying to figure out exactly what it was because I had never seen anything like it. I could not believe it was an actual orchid flower. I did not believe that orchid flowers could have this distinctive and very crazy, wacky, and beautiful quality. And when I seen it, it really excited me to want to explore even more orchids. It made me really want to dive into the wonderful, diversified, very unique, and very intense, beautiful world of orchids. So yeah, this particular orchid right here really had my nose wide open when it comes to being very interested and really wanting one of these very unique orchids. Now, speaking of nose being wide open, oh my gosh, your nose doesn't have to be wide open at all. As a matter of fact, I think it probably could be stuffed up and you would still smell this orchid's very intense and intoxicating fragrance. The fragrance actually is only emitted during the nocturnal hours, so only at night. And the scent on this orchid is a very scrumptious, very fresh, lemony or lime scent. I do believe that this orchid right here has one of the most fascinating scents that I have ever smelled. Not only is it fascinating and delicious, but the scent is so heavy and so powerful. It can fill up an entire room very easily, and I can guarantee you, you will more than likely smell this orchid before you actually see it. And I do have to say that this is quite a prize and a reward when it comes to very unique and very heavily scented orchids. This orchid right here is truly the cream of the crop. So if you are an orchid lover that definitely is into very unique and very beautiful and very scented orchids, then this would be an orchid for you. I guarantee you will not be disappointed at all. And there you have it, folks. That is an absolute Rhyncholaelia Digbyana wrap. And you guys will have to let me know exactly what you think about this particular orchid right here. And if you guys already have one, please also let me know exactly what are your favorite characteristic about this Digbyana. Let me know your thoughts on this orchid and please post those comments below. I do truly hope that you enjoy this video, and if you like this video, please be sure to like, like, share, and also subscribe. And I thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate you being here with me, and I will see you guys and I will grow with you guys later. Bye bye for now. Mwah.